welcome to the Cruising is Life podcast. Whether you're a seasoned cruiser or just starting out, we have something for everyone. So sit back, relax, and get ready to set sail with us on the Cruising is Life podcast.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Cruising is Life podcast. Welcome back for another weekly episode. And we are back for another really exciting one as I am going on my first ever MSC cruise tomorrow. And of course, we are joined by Dimitri, our typical co-host. Welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
Yes. So as of tomorrow, and this is probably one of the more last-minute cruises I've ever taken. I booked this just about exactly a month ago. But I will be sailing on Seashore for 3 days. And we're just going to dive in all about the, things, that we have planned and things like that, ins and outs of the ship. And Dimitri here has been on MSC before. He actually went on the Seascape. So pretty good comparison of a ship too.
Yes.
But yeah, so we'll get started here. I'm definitely very, very excited. Justin, of course, couldn't join us tonight. And Justin is not going on this cruise. Actually, believe it or not, I got myself a girlfriend and we're going on a cruise together. So
now it's just my turn.
Yeah, now it's your turn. If you are single and you are a lady, hit up Dimitri. Good stuff. But yeah, Dimitri here has been on the Seascape, which is a exact sister ship to the Seashore, which are the two newest in that class. I guess they're the Seaside Evo ships, but nonetheless, pretty much identical. So you've got a pretty good grasp of what the ship is going to be like. So it'll be interesting.
I spent 7 days, so I know you're on a shorter one, but I guess this will let you dip your toes into the water of MSC, aka the most shiny cruise.
I feel like it's a good thing to just dip your toes in with a 3-night, especially on a cruise line you've never done before. But at the same time, I kind of wish I was doing 7 days. But as some of you may know, as soon as I get back, literally 2 weeks to the day I get back, I'm going on a 7-day cruise. So I gotta work with what I got. I think we wanted to do a 7, or we would at least try to do a 4, but time constraints with Carnival Venezia and limited PTO is kind of a bummer. But yes. So we'll jump right into it. Of course, Dimitri's going to ask some questions. I'll probably ask him some questions throughout the night.
But okay, explain to everybody where you're going. Where is this ship taking you?
So, of course, Seashore, we are going out of Port Canaveral, Cruise Terminal 10. Seashore has been here for, I guess, a little over a year now. Maybe about a year and a half or so. Because I know we had Seaside and Divina and even Merivilia at one point here. But Seashore is the current ship here for us in Port Canaveral. She is doing 3, 4s, and 7s, which is very interesting how they do that. And we are doing the 3. And it's interesting how they do the 3, 4, and 7s is because they'll let you book a 3 and a 4 as a 7, which is, of course, just a regular back-to-back, but you can book it as an actual 7-day cruise that goes back like that.
Well, then not only that, but then you can also combine it with the 7-day and a 3-day and make it a 10-day.
You're right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's super interesting and super weird. It's very unique to MSC, especially here in the US. Overseas in the Mediterranean, I feel like that's a little bit more common. I see like a lot of Mediterranean cruises that are like 7 days from one end, like Barcelona over to like Venice or wherever.
Yeah, like that.
And then you'll see 7 days that go from Venice back to Barcelona. So most people do the 14 nights.
I mean, it's a cool concept that not a lot of like traditional cruise lines do. Like I know Costa does it, I know Ada does it, I know MSC does it, but like Carnival, Royal, Norwegian, they don't.
Yeah,
Princess,
they don't really do it here in the US.
Yeah,
but people, I feel like people pretty much everywhere else in the world love that for us. A lot of countries also have just a lot more paid time off from work and companies and things like that. So, 3 weeks of vacation time a year is pretty solid for us here in the States. So usually these 2-week
Yeah.
cruises are not very commonplace here in the U.S., which I feel like is why we get that more traditional type of thing. You know, we get the 7 days, and that's pretty much it. You know, you have options, yes, but typically you'll have to book it as 2 separate cruises or things like that. But yeah, I guess back to our point though, we're on the 3-night leg of this, and this one actually does not have a sea day, which will be interesting. But we go to
that's kind of
we go to Nassau and then Ocean Cay.
Ocean Cay.
Very nice.
Do you guys have okay? So Nassau, Ocean Cay. Who are you guys gonna be with?
If I can remember off the top of my head, we'll be with Voyager tomorrow and Port Canaveral, of course.
Just Voyager.
Yes, just Voyager and Seashore. Thursdays are usually pretty dead. I guess nowadays, I guess it's either Voyager and then the following week it's just Freedom. But then again, you'll have Seashore mixed in there from time to time. I guess every other week. So yeah, that's what we're doing, or I guess that's who we have with us in Port Canaveral. In Nassau, I'm pretty sure it's Reflection, if I'm not mistaken. But on top of, I know it's a Solstice class. I'm like 90% sure it's Reflection. But we're also there with the Norwegian Escape. The Escape. Yes. I'm excited to see her. I haven't seen her since pretty much last April. When she finally left Port Canaveral, which I know she's going to come back soon.
Funny you say that, because I thought she was in Texas. Oh, she was.
I did too.
What is she doing here?
She was in Miami the other day. I think she's sailing out of Miami.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they brought her back, and then she was probably going to go to Europe in July or something.
Yeah, she's sailing out of Miami. I've got timetables pulled up right now. But yes, it is Reflection, so that's cool.
Reflection.
Yes, and then of course we go to Ocean Cay. We're going to be by ourselves. Only one dock there.
Very well.
But then we get back. It's a 5-ship day, which is Vista, Fantasy, Seashore, Vision of the Seas. Cool.
Oh, that's a port of call for her, isn't it?
Yes.
So she's coming in the afternoon, or is she going to be there in the morning?
According to timetables, which I could probably pull up the actual NetSuite for it, but she's on timetables for 10:30. But let me see if I can actually check, because NetSuite's usually pretty accurate with that. But yeah, that is a port of call for her, which will be cool. It's just the Vision, but it'll be cool just to kind of see something coming in a little bit later.
Go to one. I'd imagine kind of say, she'll dock kind of next to you guys, but
right. She'll go to. I'm assuming she'll go to 5 if we've got Vista at 6. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, because the Wonder is there.
They have her at the dock at 10:15 on Sunday. So I'll probably be able to watch her come in. I don't know how debark really works, and that's kind of what we'll dive into here in a bit. But not a whole lot of too sure how the debark works. I've heard that's one of their biggest pain points, but I could also be wrong. Maybe it was painful. See, at least your embarkation was very wonky on your Seascape cruise, and I know that was a one-off.
I can't judge them for the embarkation. Sure, I'll throw that out the window. But
yes,
the getting off at each worked.
For context, at least give the audience, I guess, a rundown of what happened. So this is more of context of why he had a bad embarkation on Seascape.
We boarded on the day last year. I guess it's 2025 now, so 2 years. But it was the summer of 23 when the Port of Miami closed because the drunk driver drove his boat into the ferry and it sank. And
middle of the harbor.
The port was closed. Yeah, closed. And we got on the ship at midnight, and we left the dock at 3 a.m.
That's crazy. 3 a.m.
So yeah, there's a context there, huh?
3 a.m. is crazy.
Yeah, 3 a.m. is crazy. I mean, it was Miami at night, but.
Did you stay up for the sail away?
I did. Have I not sent you those videos before?
Oh, you're right. I've seen those.
But
The other
so
day,
I
Dimitri
can't.
was like on a FaceTime call with me like 2 or 3 days ago, literally just going through a Google Drive of his photo album of the seascape,
Oh yes,
like
yes, yeah, I
showing me
do.
spots that are on the ship, which is awesome.
Um, so yeah, there's I can't blame him. That is what it is.
Right,
But
that's a
getting off
one-off
that,
for sure.
it was a 7 day. So getting off at the ports, getting back onto the ship. I mean, there was always a wait, like 10, 15 minutes just to get
Really?
off the ship in a port or get back on. And in Ocean Cay, we happened to get stuck in a storm, and we were just all soaking wet because there was just a massive line to get on the ship. And I've been on Norwegian, all the other Royal, all the other ones. You never have to wait to get back on the ship, like
Right.
rarely.
I mean, like
So I found it very
unless
awkward.
it's last second, trying to
Yeah,
get back on the ship like that, obviously you're always going to catch a line, but that's weird.
yeah. But and then debark, you like snake through the whole ship, and it took like an hour. And then
Eee.
when I
Good thing it's a
got
Sunday.
to scan myself out, I forgot to close my bank statement because you have to do it at the kiosk.
Yes,
And
that is
then
some.
people, they don't tell you
Yes,
that.
I'll
But
have you
so then I
elaborate on
had to
that in a
go
second. But
step
yes,
out of
this is
line.
one of the weirdest things I've ever seen with any cruise line. But MSC is the only one that does it, and I feel like it has to do with that weird thing where they do the 3, 4, and 7 and 10s,
Yeah.
but they're all like separate cruises, but you could book them all at once type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I say it makes sense, in the moment it was really stupid. But
It's kind of weird. They should have like a system that automatically knows, that. And they, but
or if at
again,
that time Seascape was only running sevens, like, but I guess they do this back to back sevens, and you can do
yeah,
14.
it's probably
So
a
whatever.
fleet. It's probably a fleet wide thing though.
Yeah, probably make it easier on them.
Also, funny chat that I see now. Freedom is not going to have her new whale tail until her next dry dock.
Yikes! So what is that? 4 years?
2028,
Yep.
late 2028. That's
Mm,
brutal.
that sucks.
That is brutal. Anyways, but yeah, that I feel like it's probably just a fleet wide thing. It's probably easier for them to keep it consistent across the fleet.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, okay, yeah, it works nice because everyone doesn't have to go to guest services, or deal with it after the fact. But even like Royal, like you send me the bill in the mail or to my
Right,
email as soon as I get off the ship. I'll
right,
call the customer service or my bank when I get home. You know what I mean?
right, right. It is what it is. That is a weird thing, but I guess it's good that I know that being my first MSC cruise, and I feel like anybody listening, listen good. But it's good to kind of know that ahead of time because you might be behind the 8 ball and you'd be like, "What the heck?" Especially if you're a very frequent cruiser, a seasoned cruiser, but you've never cruised with them before. Like you probably,
Yeah.
I was like, because I had seen something about it, and I asked Dimitri the other day, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like that's a thing." So it's good to know ahead of
So
time
yeah.
to register, and then you also have to do it upon debarking the ship. So either your final night or the morning of debark, you have to go back to the kiosk and close out your account, preferably
Yes.
before like the night before you get off. If you forget, they will literally, you try to scan off the ship, they will scan your card
Mm,
and say you've got to close out your statement. So if you've
that was
just
me.
waited yeah, exactly. If you wait an hour in line basically to get off the ship and then all of a sudden you forgot to close out your account, you're gonna have to go close out your account and get back in line. So
Yeah.
that's the unfortunate side of it. And again, it's kind of weird and sucks that they have to do that, but at the same time, like it's good to know that tip ahead of time so you don't make that mistake.
Yeah. But anywho, do you guys have any like plans in Nassau or Ocean Case specifically, or no?
Not anything in particular. I think Nassau we're most likely just kind of check out the ships and things like that. I don't think she's been there since they've redone it.
Oh
So,
yeah,
and
take a little walk.
she is a very frequent cruiser, by the way. So, cool stuff.
You need to find me one of those.
I think she's been on like 20, I think is what she said. So that's cool.
That is cool.
She got the same status match as I did, so I was pretty impressed with that. She's like, you didn't think I was gonna get the same thing? I go, dude, I'm usually just impressed people like have been on X amount of cruises.
Yeah, right. For real.
Like that's the thing. I'm like, usually if somebody like gives me like an actual like good number, like to me, like I've been on 50 at the, like literally 50 at this point. Like this is 51. So like, yeah, it doesn't faze me for some reason to say that I've been on 50, but like if I hear somebody say like, oh, like 20 cruises, I'm like, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You know, usually I'll be like, oh, wow, that's awesome. That's always the funniest thing, catching people off guard with that too, is like, oh, wow, 20, that's crazy. Like, oh yeah, like how many have you been on? I'll throw out 50 and they're like, dude, what?
Be like,
you sounded impressed at my 20. What the heck? It's good stuff. But yeah, so that is cool.
Yeah.
And she's the one that convinced me to do this cruise, which is the crazy part.
Bad influence.
It is. We were sitting at, we were getting dinner at Disney Springs the other night, and we were just like talking about the cruise and stuff like that. And she pulled up the MSC website and was like, oh, like the World Europa like looks nice. Like, you know, I was like, oh yeah, they've got like pretty good deals. So she pulled up her phone, like pulled up the MSC app. I go, you cannot do that in front of me because we're going to book something if you do. It's like, you cannot do that. That's a bad idea. Bad idea. She'll learn. She's going to learn.
LOL.
But yeah, I'm excited though. Yeah, I don't think she's been back to Nassau though since they've redone it all. So it'll probably go through all those shops and things like that.
Yeah,
probably won't go too far.
Nice. Walk around and then enjoy the ship. You know, make it your sea day.
Right, exactly. And you know, that's kind of what I did. Right, that's kind of what we did on the Oasis too. Is, you know, we just kind of walked around and looked at the ships and stuff like that. But we, you know, took the time, did my ship tour, like did the ship tour in the morning and things like that.
All your tour stuff done. You know, I actually enjoy the ship. I know.
Right, and this is going to be like an interesting cruise too, because one, I have the Venezia so close, but I also kind of just like, I do want to like spend time with her and also not annoy her with all of my content creation. So like, I'm probably going to take a little bit more of a relaxed like angle at everything instead of like, you know, if I'm up for, right, like, you know, with me and Justin, it's always like, all right, 6 a.m. we got to be up. We're going to watch ourselves come in. We're going to watch the ship tie up. Go. With her, I'll probably just, if I'm up when we come in.
What time do you guys get in early or anything?
I think actually, you know what? I think it's a 10 a.m. arrival for Seascape or Seashore.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's 7 a.m. for Ocean K, so probably not going to watch that. But if we're up, I'm assuming we'll be up by 10 a.m. on Saturday or Friday. So.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm also there just more to experience the ship than the lineup as well. So, you know, I kind of knew when I was booking it, I was like, you know, the lineup isn't that impressive. It's, you know, great to see the Escape. You know, we've got the Reflection, cool. But, you know, I'll probably just sit back, relax, enjoy the ship and all the ship has to offer because it looks incredible too.
Yeah, I guess I can kind of segue into our next thing. Like the ship itself, MSC does amazing ships. You know, if you compare it apples to apples, if you're going to go do a 3 or 4 day, on like a Conquest class, like if you were to go on Carnival or a 3 or 4 day on Norwegian, you were going to go on Dawn or Star or Sky, or you're going to go on, you know, Royal. Obviously, they have Utopia, but not Utopia is only in one port. You go to Galveston. I mean, you're on Voyager class. You know, you're on Vision class.
Right.
I mean,
Utopia is also 3 times the price.
Exactly, and that was going to be my next thing. If you're in,
we'll get into pricing and stuff like that because I do want to be a little bit transparent about the pricing and like what we've got out of that pricing because this is hands down one of the best deals I have ever gotten on a cruise, by far.
Yeah, that's typical MSC. Good for them.
Right.
But I mean, it's hard to beat, and it's like I said, a very nice ship. It'll be a good experience. I mean, enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be
Right.
something different.
Right. And yeah, I've kind of been peeking. I do want to be surprised to an extent. Like I'm not really familiar with the layout of the ship, but I have like seen tours, so I know like, it's got certain things and stuff like that. But I'm going like 75% blind into this. Icon, I went like 100% blind into it. Like I was not looking at anything about the ship, before going on it, because I was on like the third sailing. So I just kind of wanted to like get that really like awe experience for it. But with this, I'm like, with this being my first MSC cruise, I was also really thinking like, okay, I went back and looked, this is my first time trying a new cruise line since 2008. And that's when I tried NCL for the first time. Or 2009.
I mean, there's not very many to pick from, but yeah.
Right. Right, exactly. I mean, I have been on quite a few cruise lines, but yeah, it's like crazy to think about. Like I've only been on, something that I have experienced before, since, I guess in the last like 16 plus years almost, or 15, 16 years, I've never tried a new cruise line. So I've been wanting to try MSC for a while too. So it's going to be a good time.
And they've been dominating the market, to be honest. So about time that try them out, see what everyone's yapping about.
Yeah. And I was saying the other day, off record and things like that, I was like, if this cruise, and I say that when I say this, it's not like I'm expecting a bad cruise. When I'm more saying this, like, if this is a good cruise, which I'm kind of anticipating it being,
yeah,
if this is any good, like I am going, these are going to be my guys now. Like, again, for the price, the ships, again, these are some of the most luxurious and beautiful looking ships out there at sea right now. And, a fraction of the price of what you're going to get even from Carnival, which are known for good deals. It's going to be great. So I hope it sticks.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah, I guess like I guess going back to that price transparency, part of it, so we paid, it was $190 per person. And part of the loyalty program, I guess, or the loyalty status matching, you get 5% off of your cruise fare for all your future cruises. So on top of that, which I think it came out to like $13 or something like that we got back, which is not much, but the fact that we got money back, and it was actually even less, but we paid $190 per person. Granted, we booked an interior cabin at a random assignment, but our random assignment ended up being turned into a balcony cabin on deck 14. So we got a 3-night cruise in a balcony for total, between the two of us, less than what I paid for myself in an interior on Oasis of the Seas for 3 nights as well.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. So again, that's where the deals kind of come in. I see those prices. I've seen cheaper prices too for MSC. So it's impressive.
Very impressive, to be honest.
All right, what's next?
I mean, what do you guys have like the dining package or anything? Did you do any of the included packages stuff or no?
So I looked into that. It was a little weird how they do it, because on the app and online, they have some really good looking specialty dining restaurants, but it's like, okay, you can do the 2-meal package or a 3-meal or a 4-meal package, but I was like, we really just probably only want to do like 1 night worth of specialty dining. And also, if I were to get
I'd say one at most.
Right, exactly. And especially for a 3-night cruise, I mean, yeah, I could do the 2, which was, I think, $99 a person, either total or per person. I think it was per person. But
yeah.
$99, I mean, for 2 people, it was pretty good. But, for a 3-night cruise, 2 nights of specialty dining with no sea days, that's a lot going on. So I think we want to do teppanyaki or the hibachi. We want to do the hibachi, I think. Or we may just go the cheaper route and go with the Mexican restaurant. I hear that's pretty good too.
Okay.
I've seen people say it's good. Most people just don't go there because they don't waste the dining package on it because it's the cheaper option. But since we don't have that dining package, I'm probably gonna give that a shot.
Yeah, I as well.
So
Can't go wrong with some nachos.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, I love chips. Dimitri's seen me devour a bag of chips from Chili's.
The whole bag.
The whole bag. I was a little intoxicated that night, but the whole bag. But yeah, I'm excited. So either we're gonna do hibachi. I think hibachi is gonna be our first choice. If we can't get that, we're just gonna cheap out and do the Mexican.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, and we'll probably just buffet it a little bit.
Yeah. What do you like? Obviously, I know you're excited to try something new, but what are you most looking forward to?
This is gonna sound really dumb, but they have an F1 simulator on board. I'm so excited for that. Okay,
What do you call it?
You're a car guy like me. I know I drive a soccer mom car now, but like I used to have a hot boy car at one point. I had a little that Civic was so cool.
R.I.P. in the chat, everybody, please.
R.I.P. the Civic. Nothing happened to it. I just sold it and got a soccer mom car instead. But that Civic was so much fun and it was so cool looking. I just wanted something a little bit more practical and comfortable with all these ship spotting trips. But I'm a car guy just like you are, and so I'm looking forward to that F1 simulator to give that a shot because I worked at a racetrack in college too. So
yes, you did.
That little Civic ended up on a racetrack at one point anyways. Or actually my little red one did, but I never, just don't tell the insurance companies that. But yeah, so I'm excited to give that a shot. Other than that, I would say, honestly, I think what I'm really most excited about is just like trying something different too. Like just everything about the ship. I want to, figure out the ins and outs of MSC just, because they're not an American based company still technically, they have all these American ships and they're putting so much emphasis over here in the US market, but they're still that Italian brand. So they do still do it differently. And so I'm excited to just try something different from the norm, whether it ends up being good, whether it ends up being bad, we'll have to wait and see. But that's kind of what I'm excited about, is just to kind of see something different after, 50 cruises, just something that's not normal. Or at least out of my comfort zone, which I guess, after that many cruises, it's rare.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great, it's short enough. You didn't spend, gazillion dollars.
Right, exactly. Because now if I like this, I'm 90% positive I'm going to end up booking the World America, whether it's this year or early next year. Like if this is a good cruise, I'm going to book the World America for a 7-day cruise. So 3 nights is a good amount of time, especially when you're unfamiliar. Just dip your feet in, get a taste. If you like it, then do a 7.
Yep.
Because you can't really do that with Carnival. No offense to Carnival, no hate towards Carnival, but the 3 nights are, they're so cheap. You just get a really wild party crowd on. And not to say that MSC isn't cheap, but Carnival's known for kind of being the cheap, fun cruise line, which is great, and that's what they're the fun ships, obviously. But Carnival does have a reputation for those older ships just being very, I thought the Glory was great, so this is nothing against my experience on the Glory because I had a great time. But there is that reputation, like a lot of people say, they're older, run down, smaller, just not much going on. Again, I liked it, but a lot of people have that stereotype of Carnival ships. But So you can't really do that with Carnival, because you're getting a 20-year-old Carnival Glory, you're getting a 22-year-old Carnival Conquest, whatever, compared to the Seashore that is going on 3 years old and about 70% bigger as well. And
those old Carnivals.
Yeah,
The
and
decor is quite interesting.
right, exactly. And and the luxury factor as well, like, the outdated ship from 2002 compared to one of the most luxurious looking ships. It's got a crystal diamond staircase on it, like, you're not going to find that on the Carnival Conquest.
No, you are not.
Carnival, I'm not saying anything against you guys. I love you guys, actually, and I'm very excited for Venezia. But I'm just saying an apples to apples, comparison though. You're not going to get that on Carnival Conquest. And again, you're getting a ship that is about 20 years newer and about 70% larger.
So, yeah, it's a no-brainer, to be honest.
So yeah, you dip your toes in with a 22-year-old Carnival ship, and then let's see if I like it. You're going to get a much, much different experience on the Conquest versus the Mardi Gras. Like, in that case, like, I would recommend just going on the Mardi Gras. One of the best ships out there. Mardi Gras was amazing. So I'd go on it again. So yeah, it's just, nice. I guess, like, really the only competition on the 3 and 4 night sailings, at least for now, because we know that NCL is about to get into it with Joy. Right now, MSC on those weekend getaways, your only competition is either Utopia of the Seas. But again, Utopia of the Seas costs $500 plus per person for an inside cabin, where, again, I just spent under $200 per person for a balcony cabin.
Yeah, and
doesn't matter if it's the second largest ship in the world. I'm gonna go with a ship as long as it looks good, of course. I'm gonna go with the ship that I can.
Food, a buffet, and a pool with alcoholic beverages nearby. Sign me up.
It's all that matters, man. It's all that matters. And speaking of food, so this has been like the biggest pain point for MSC in the recent years. Although I've heard much better things ever since 2024. It seems like it was always a hit or miss, the first few years that they were in the U.S. market. But within the past 12 months, it has been nothing but phenomenal things. And I've heard somebody mention that they changed maybe vendors and just, like, quality control of their food. But, like, how was the food on Seascape for you?
I'm not a picky eater. Like, generally, like, I am, like, probably one of the least picky people out there. But it was fine. Like, I don't remember necessarily anything being standoutish, but it was definitely, like, fine.
Yeah.
We did the steakhouse and the hibachi as our specialty day restaurants, because we did the 2.
Okay.
And those were good. And, you can't really judge, like, the hibachi show, because, one chef might be different than the other, but ours was kind of boring.
I've literally seen that happen before. When I sailed on Horizon, we had, so obviously the way hibachi tables are set up, we had, it was like a table next to a table. So, like, we were both kind of like sitting in a line almost, instead of like facing each other on the ends. But the guy that we had was like super, just like, you can kind of tell he was a little nervous maybe, which was, fine. Again, it's hibachi chef, probably knew something like that, but he was kind of like very timid, tried to crack a few jokes, but they never landed, type of thing. But then the guy over next to him, like 5 feet from him, was a smoke show. He had the whole room, even our table, going. So, like, experience with the hibachi chefs is also just completely different and dependent on who you get, really.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I've seen that firsthand.
And like I said, the food was good. I don't remember any food being necessarily bad. They do pasta, pizza, anything Italian, great.
So excited.
They're making, and you literally see the guy in the corner on the buffet, making the pasta and stuff. It's good. And there may not be, like, as big of a burger section or a fry section, as you know, you might find on like a Carnival or a Royal Caribbean, but they're still there, but you just got to go find it. And there may just not be as much selection of just American stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Okay. I mean, that makes sense.
It'll be more like ethnic, foods. But
the chicken nuggets are the chicken nuggets are the ethnic food on MSC.
Well, it's true because they're Italian, but
yes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like to try all different stuff, so it was fine with me. But then you were able to find.
I do think I'm going to try something new, something different on this cruise. I don't know what it's going to end up being, but I think I want to kind of like make a goal for myself because I am a picky eater. I'm not nearly as bad as Justin is, but
Right.
I am a picky eater. So, maybe I'll try something different on this cruise. I don't know what it is. I don't have a game plan for that, but maybe I'll try something new on the
I know
cruise.
what it's going to be. It is going to be multiple alcoholic beverages instead of just like one.
I did so we actually were able to order a bottle of wine for the room on through the app, which is nice. I think you can do that with other cruise lines, but usually the bottles are like $30-$40. Like we paid, it was like $19. It was cheaper than the bottle of wine I was about to go run out to Publix and grab. So that was cool.
How's their app look? I know you're familiar with Carnival's app. Norwegian just launched a new app like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
So I can't judge on that, but their old app was okay.
Okay.
And Royals is great, although we had some issues on Wonder, but it was fine on Voyager. But
speaking of,
how was their app?
My thing says today is the day if it'll focus on it, but I love that.
Well, not necessarily
But
tomorrow.
their app is great. Honestly,
Nice.
I think Royal Caribbean has perfected it. I think Royal Caribbean's is fantastic. There's just kind of the gold standard of the industry. But I would say this comes up close to it. I mean,
Nice.
the UI on it is very easy to use, very easy to navigate, things to do. It pulls up, what do you want to do? Book an excursion? Do you want to do spa, specialty restaurants? And then right below that is beverages and, services. So your drink packages, your Wi-Fi packages, everything is split up so nice. I would say and then obviously you have your boarding passes with the QR codes and things like that. So honestly, the pre-boarding check-ins and things like that, it was a breeze. Very easy to do. We'll see how the actual embarkation is, but honestly,
what time are you guys planning to embark?
Noon.
You're getting there at 10:30.
I'd have to give their app a, if I give Royal Caribbean a 10 out of 10, I would give these guys a 9 out of 10 on their app. It's fantastic. I've had no problems with it, and it's very easy to use.
Awesome. Does it show the plan of the day, like a daily planner?
Not yet.
Not yet.
It does. So it has. I'm assuming it may change when we got on board, but there's a thing where it shows the itinerary, and then you can do. Okay, so there is a thing of where it says, hold on. Where it's my cruise activities, and you click on it, and it says, your personal agenda. Probably just go through the things throughout the day. So yeah, day one, it says the bottle of wine that I ordered is on my day one. My agenda for day one: embarkation, all aboard at 16:15 or 4:15. Departure at 1700. Things like that. So it's got that type of thing. And of course, if you've booked anything, then it would show up on the calendar for that. Yeah. So it kind of does have a bit of a planner to it in a certain way, I guess. And then, of course, it has the deck maps. I haven't seen anything that shows that, but I'm assuming, again, I'm assuming we'll probably get an update on it, or we'll be able to look at the shows as soon as we get on the ship. Because I know, Royal Caribbean, you can do that. But I know like with Carnival, sometimes you make a reservation for something like on the ship instead, or like the app just completely changes with the UI. It just completely changes as soon as you get on the ship or something. So
Yeah.
who knows? I also have to check in for the Venezia during my first day of this cruise.
Have a lot.
Good stuff.
Just do it for you.
Yeah.
But yeah. Why are you getting on at noon? Hello, you're getting on at like 10:30. You better be
Might as
first in
well.
line.
That's up to her, man. Once she shows up, I'm gone. So
5 a.m. It's like those TikToks where be ready at 5 a.m. and they're under the cover and then they're
yeah,
already all ready at 5 o'clock.
I'm like, try to get here around 10 o'clock, and so once she gets here, we're gone.
Oh, 10 o'clock. I'm on the ship.
Yeah, for real. I don't know how MSC is because it's always like don't show up before your boarding time. 12 was also the earliest I could get, so I wonder if maybe that like they don't start boarding until then. I don't know.
Yeah, because their debark is such a mess. They need all the time they can get.
I've heard Terminal 10 at Canaveral is like the worst one in Canaveral, which I have been through the terminal before, but the last time I went through there was for the Carnival Dream back in 2009, 2010.
I was going to say, that's where I went on.
The thing was new. Yeah. Dream was new when I went on it. So, at least the first time I went at it out in New Orleans too. But I heard that is the worst terminal, but at the same time, like Canaveral also does have their crap together. So
they do.
Saying it's a bad terminal doesn't really mean much. It's probably just like slightly less convenient than Terminal 1 is, because that one's like lightning fast.
I was going to say, yeah, for Voyager, I mean, it was fine. They just didn't have all the security lanes open. Like,
right.
Why not?
And yeah, Terminal 5 is like the little one too. I mean, this one's at least bigger.
I was going to say, if they decide to shove a bigger ship over at 5 or 6 in that area, it's just congested and small. And
yeah, it's a tough terminal to, that's a tough terminal for Terminal 5, because for like the longest time it was just the Carnival Liberty using it, but now we have ships like Mariner, Voyager, Adventure, Prima even used it, and part of the project with that new terminal, which the new terminal is not happening, but I believe that the dredging project for that little section though is still going to happen. And
sure, they might as well.
And if they dredge it to where it's a straight drop off from like the edge of the road, basically like they want it to be, because right now it's at just like a slope, but once they get rid of that and they dredge that out, like they could put a Freedom class in there, which I would love to see.
It doesn't necessarily matter how far out it sticks out, because whoever's at 6 can just nestle in there, because there's a dolphin there anyway, so they can't necessarily be longer than that. So
and if
that's the culture.
If Oasis and Symphony can dock at 6, between those dolphins and the pier there, you'll be fine.
Anybody can, yeah.
You will be fine.
Yep.
Hi, Bill. All right, what else you got?
Are you guys I know I asked if you're doing anything in Nassau, but I don't think we got to what you were doing in Ocean Cay.
Oh, Ocean Cay. So
what you were wanting to do in Ocean Cay.
Honestly, I think we're just going to explore the island. There's really, it's not built up and crazy, chaos like Coco Cay is. Coco Cay, I love it. It's probably my favorite private island right now, I think by a long shot. But, it is chaos. It's a lot of, there's just so much going on, which is great for them. It's built for that type of, chaos and things like that. So it's not necessarily a bad thing when I say it's chaos there. But this is a complete polar opposite. This is just beaches, flat sand, pathways, things like that. So, they have like the little lighthouse, and that's really like the only like structure that they have on the island other than just like beaches and like little huts. So It's cool.
They have like a shopping area and
Right. The huts like for
and
shopping
like
and
when you
stuff like
first
that.
walk in, but other than that,
Yeah. I like what they're doing with that though, because they are focusing a lot on the environmental aspect of it, which is great as Bell,
big
you know,
amenities.
pulls away the pulls away the mic for me. But it
Okay.
is cool that because the cruise lines, yeah, ships are never going to be perfect. You can't just flip a switch and just have like the perfectly the perfect ship that's not going to contribute anything to the environment. Everything on this planet is going to contribute something to the environment in some capacity. But it's cool
Yeah.
like what they're trying to do because I was reading the other day. I think you were the one that sent me the article, but like a few years ago, like 10 years ago, Ocean Key was just like an industrial wasteland. It was just heavy
Yeah, I
machinery,
had
like
no
scrap
idea.
metal.
Yeah,
You're
I
gonna
had
have to
no
come
idea.
sit in my lap. Yeah, it was just like basically just like a graveyard of industrial equipment and just scrap metal. Like, and so to think that it's been turned into this beautiful sand, beach area that is free of all of that, but they're also using a lot of that old stuff, and safe ways to use it as artificial reefs and building reefs, and bringing back a lot of the sea life that was non-existent 10 years ago.
Save the
So
manatees.
yeah. So I mean, MSC's honestly like the whole save the ocean, things like that. Like MSC has done a pretty good job with that. I know that's a lot of cruise lines' top priorities and stuff like that. But it is cool to see like they really are doing something really unique with that. Because
Very.
Royal
And they're
Royal
the only ones that
Caribbean
are really
could do
doing it.
that.
Everyone else is bigger, better, this and that, and they're like, let's just keep it chill.
Keep it chill. Just have a beach day, man. That's all. Honestly, that's all you need on a private island. Just a beach day.
Yeah.
So it's cool
And
that
a
they're
lot
doing
of
that.
and a lot of people, we might not think of it, but as cruisers with families, if you take your kids, Mexico, Honduras, you got to be on high alert.
Oh yeah.
But you go to the private island and it's just like a chill day. You don't have to worry, people haggling, like all the above.
Right.
So
That's
I
why I
think
don't
that's
want.
also,
I have no plans on going back to Jamaica
yeah,
because
literally.
stuff like that. Even me like in my family like I'm older and we still didn't feel safe there. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I couldn't imagine carrying around like a small child through Jamaica like an Ocho Rios. I would not have. I would have turned right around.
Yeah.
But yeah, not much really planned. Just kind of explore the island, just hang out on the beach. Probably, they do have like jet skis and snorkeling and stuff like that. We're probably not going to do any of that, but just kind of see what it all has to offer. Again, especially for our first time, instead of doing something crazy, especially for frequent cruisers like us, we'll be back.
Just chill.
We'll be back. So check it out first.
For sure. Get all your pictures out of the way.
That too.
Your
They got
first
some really,
time.
really, really good photo spots on
They
that
do.
island.
They really do. They really do.
Yeah.
Especially from the lighthouse beach and you get to swim with the ship right there.
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh, I'm so excited for that. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be like in the 50s
I was
for our
gonna
sail
say the
away,
ocean
which
may be
is
a little chilly, but
the water's gonna be very cold. It's gonna warm up a little bit. It'll at least be in the 70s, which to me is still a little chilly. Um, Florida man, type
wind,
stuff there. But yeah, with the wind, it's gonna be a cold cruise. I actually did pack pretty warm. I brought some shorts and stuff like that just in case, but I packed pretty warm.
cold, like if the air conditioning's on in the car. So like
Right. I mean, I think the high in Bimini, which is roughly where Ocean Key is, I think is like 73, but the low is only like
I mean that's perfect
65.
weather too. That's perfect chill weather, but yeah, it's
Right,
nothing like much.
exactly. And the sun's gonna be out, things like that. So it's probably gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, packed pretty warm, but also have some, regular stuff to wear and stuff like that.
Nice. What time are you guys at Ocean Cay till?
7 o'clock to my knowledge. Yeah.
Okay, so you'll get to see a nice sunset.
Yeah, 6 or 7 o'clock. Yeah, which is
Yeah, on
nice
the
because
beach.
we are on the starboard side of the ship. Our balcony is, so we are going
Yeah.
to be overlooking the island throughout the day,
Nice.
which
I was
is
going to say
awesome.
you can be on the island for sunset and get pictures of the ship in the sunset.
Actually, that is pretty cool. We may have to do that.
That is pretty cool. So,
That's very unique. They stay a lot later than some of the other cruise lines do.
I mean, it's just because it's so close to
That too.
Florida. If you were
Right.
if you're on the top of the ship, I mean, it is obviously like a
Right.
perfectly clear day. You're not going to be able to see Florida, but you're pretty close to seeing Florida,
Right. I mean, I've never understood that though, because especially like when Freedom of the Seas, I guess now it's Allure. Sailing from Miami, you're going to Coco Cay. Like it's only like 60 miles. Like you can literally do that in 3 hours. So like, why do you leave at 5 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah, and you think
Every
they
time. Stay out till midnight.
take
Do a fireworks show.
fireworks show, like do a DJ party, like on the beach, or
Coco Cay would be
people will
crazy at night.
book a people will book a cruise if it had those stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Like, ooh, DJ party, blah blah blah.
Coco Cay at night.
Yes.
Right.
Come on.
I don't know.
Guys.
Would be cool.
Yes.
I know they do the lighthouse, the light show on the lighthouse and stuff like that in MSC. I think that's for the overnight cruises. I don't think they're going to do it for ours, but if they
it's in your daily planner, they'll say what time it's at.
Okay, cool. So yeah, if they do that, yeah. I guess if we overlook it, then we could probably just watch it from our balcony. But yeah, that'd be really, really cool.
True. Yeah, that's where we just watched it from.
Oh, really? I'm so excited to like check out that like outdoor promenade area down on the bottom too, because that's what like the best parts of that ship
That it goes all the way around.
Its unique design. Yeah, it goes all the way around. It's very, very unique.
It's very wide. The glass is low most of the time.
Good. Royal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, LOL. And there's some glass parts that you kind of like walk over.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It's like the Infinity Bridge or something like that. Like I know the bridge's size is up top, but I think it was called like the Infinity Bridge or something like that.
Are you scared of heights, or are you gonna do it?
So I am not afraid of heights, but when it comes to a giant swing that's hanging over the side of the ship, aka World America, no thanks.
Yes. Yeah, that one would probably be a would not.
Would not. I don't know about that big. I know the Seashore doesn't have it, but that like robot arm thing where it like flips you upside down and stuff like that, Seascape has. I don't think so. I think Seascape's the only one that has it, but that is also a would not.
Well, you're not missing out because there was never a line for it, and it looked like a headache about to happen. So.
Yeah, no thanks. Looks interesting. No thanks.
It looked very interesting, but it looked like
I shall pass.
Yeah.
Maybe it does have it. I've never seen it when it sails by though. One really cool thing I like about the design of the ship too is that it does have a really big water park on there, but you don't see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all of them, they kind of hide it behind the funnel.
They really because the funnels have like wings almost that kind of like surround it and just like go down the ship a little bit, and they tuck the water park in there like perfectly. Like you don't see it from the outside. You don't see it, but it's huge.
No, you don't see it.
Like you got ships like Icon, that have like these just massive water parks. It just looks so crazy and overwhelming, really cool. I loved it. But at the same time, you look at it and you go, wow, that looks so cluttered. While you look at this and go, that's pretty clean. Like, you got like the simple blue water slide that comes out of it that blends in with the funnel. Like, it's not too crazy looking. Like it still looks like a traditional cruise ship.
Intermission. I'm looking at the map right now. It looks like Utopia just left Fort Lauderdale for a medical.
Oh, interesting. She did that the other day, I think.
Really? if you're going on Utopia, don't fall down the stairs. Don't know what to tell you.
Or the Sun Princess. I don't know if they fixed the glass from that.
Yeah, no further comments.
But yeah, we got about 5 minutes left. Was there any other things that like you wanted to ask, or any questions that you had?
No, just have a good time. Enjoy. I know it's only 3 days, but I'm jealous. I will be working.
So I guess for me to you. So so you've been on Seascape, obviously, like we've mentioned before,
Yes.
but so with them being identical, what is one thing you liked the most about Seascape and one thing you didn't like about it?
The thing that I liked the most was that it was something different. Like, I don't want to say it was like out of our comfort zone, but the reason we booked it was because it was cheap,
Right.
And we were like, none of us, the people who we had gone with, had never been on MSC before, and one of them, it was his first time cruise. But it's just, a shot in the dark. We paid half of what we would have if we went on an Oasis class or a new Carnival or whatever. So it's like, shoot, let's give it a try.
Right.
But like, I love the ship. I love how it looked. I love the amenities. I loved the layout. Has something to be desired. It was a little confusing with the elevators. You'll find that out.
Okay.
But all the mirrors, it's just very high class, and it's got the smell.
The smell.
Make sure you don't forget the MSC perfume.
Can you describe said smell?
It's hard to describe. Like, no, I'm like being like serious. Like, how do you even, like, it's a clean, but it has like a fruity smell.
Like, is it gonna smell
it's
like
prominent.
is it gonna smell like Axe body spray, or is it gonna smell like Sabrina Carpenter?
No, it's really present. It's like a fresh, fruity smell. A lot of people say, what do they say? What's that? Not vegetable fruit, like a fig. Like, it's a very like thick, like a warm. It's nice. It's like, it's supposed to make you feel luxurious, is what they say.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh,
So
they have chocolate ship models on this thing.
Oh, you better
Hype.
bring one.
Okay, so are you supposed to eat this chocolate? I mean, like, obviously yes, but like, they're chocolate. But like, would you eat it?
I mean,
It's kind of made to
put
eat.
chocolate in front of me and not let me eat it.
Okay, just making sure.
But
because I was like, we're gonna get one, and we're just gonna have like a movie night one night and munch on the chocolate.
But yeah, and then the thing that I'd probably say the airball would be, just the crowd. It's an ethnic cruise line. It's an Italian cruise line.
Mm-hmm.
English was the third language spoken during everything. I felt like the minority on this ship from all the Spanish people and the Italian people. And I'm not gonna get too, they were just not the nicest people. And all the announcements, it's like 10-minute announcements. Yeah, and then it's the third language.
Bit of a culture difference as well. Americans we like our space. Yeah. We like our space. In Europe, they get up close and personal. It's just how they are. It's just how they always are. So it's just a cultural difference is all it is.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one might be a little bit different just because it is out of Canaveral rather than Miami. Because Miami has that huge international airport, whereas Canaveral does not. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if it is still going to be like that, or if it's going to be not quite as bad, or just something that's still primarily American.
Who knows? You're going to tell me in a couple days, but
we will be telling you guys next week. We will be telling you next week on the next episode of the Cruising is Life podcast for our review of the MSC Seashore.
We cannot wait.
Stay tuned.
But yeah, it it was kind of, a shock to us. But I mean, it didn't really like ruin anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's not really something you can really like knock a cruise for either.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they're guests. Like you're gonna
True, and
have
it's like
bad
compare
guests, and you're
3 and 4 days to the 7 days. The crowd is different. Like,
right, right, exactly. So, speaking, for some reason, that reminded me of this. Did you ever have Dr. E as a cruise director on any Carnival ship that you've been on?
I don't think I have.
Okay, so he was a really popular cruise director. I had him
He was.
at least two or three times. I know I had him on. I had him and Matt Mitchum on Glory together, which is crazy.
Really?
That was a good duo because I think
Wow.
it was like a handover week, where I think it was Matt's last week and he was getting on, or vice versa, or something like that. But yeah, it was a handover week, so we had both of them teamed up when I was on Glory in 2014. But I also had him on the
Mhm.
Magic. But he apparently, I just found this out like a week ago. He is the cruise director on Seashore now.
Is
He
he
does not work for
really?
he does not work for Carnival anymore.
Wow.
Crazy,
That's shocking.
crazy stuff.
That is
He's also
shocking.
from Atlanta, so which is funny because when we were on the Glory, his name tag said like, oh, Atlanta, Georgia. We're like, oh, because my family's from there as well, so we're like, oh, cool, blah blah blah. So it was cool, like met somebody from hometown type of thing. It's cool like when a crew member is like from the U.S., but it's also cool like when they're from, your part of town, in the U.S.
Yeah,
But
very
yeah,
true.
I was very shocked because I like saw something from him on his story or something, and like, oh, like we're about to like get this party started, and I'm like, that looks like a
Yeah,
seaside
okay.
class. I was like, this definitely looks like a seaside class, and then all of a sudden he's like, post like a picture of something, and I'm like, this man works for MSC now.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would have never. I don't follow him, but I would have never
Oh, really?
expected that.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. So you have to let me know how he is too. You could go up there
Yeah.
and be like, "Hey, yo, you remember from 10 years ago?"
Yeah, I was like, I almost wanted to, obviously, because I probably will recognize the account, or I would assume, on Instagram because
Mhm.
of the big following. I don't know if he actually follows me or not, but I'd be like, hey, like, crazy to see you here, type of thing. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be cool. I'll probably try to find him and say hi at some point. But yeah, with that, anything else?
I believe that's it. Like I said, have a good time. Can't wait to hear all about it.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget my journal that you're buying for me.
I have a
And
list in the notes on my phone of all the people that I have to get a ship model for.
you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
look like
lucky.
Adam.
And don't forget the mega sized one. Put it in your pocket and run.
I'm gonna be like, can I buy this?
Now.
How much?
I got
How much is this? I don't care. Just give me a number and I'll pay it.
no. I have $2. Take it or leave it, and I'm taking it.
Name your price, MSC. I will buy that ship model in that. It's
Yeah,
huge.
yeah, it is.
But anyways, all right. With that, thank you so much for joining and asking all these questions, kind of sharing your experience with MSC as well on a similar ship. So I'm very excited, a little nervous just because it is a new cruise line after so many cruises. The fear of the unknown, really. But I guess that anxiety is also mixed with a lot of excitement. So
Very true.
that's very, very exciting. And apparently, side note, the Nintendo Switch 2 is supposed to be revealed tomorrow morning as well. So tomorrow's going to be a pretty awesome day.
Boy.
I'm a Nintendo nerd as well, for those who most of you probably do know, but I'm excited for that. Tomorrow's going to be a good day.
Great day.
Great day. But with that, for everybody listening and watching, thank you all for hanging out, whether you're here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening or watching. hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys next week for our review of the MSC Seashore. Have a good night, everyone.
Peace out, birds of coop.